welcome back. I want to talk about a couple of things this time. Well, first of all, you can see that we've done a lot more modeling and a lot more finishing and rendering with the head area here. You can see a lot of the features are more picked out and more defined. You can see some shape to this upturned nose here. And the eye sockets are a lot smoother. But what I wanted to talk about mostly this time was I wanted to talk about edges and light. And what I'm going to be talking about is not so much necessarily digital painting advice, although I'm going to give you some digital techniques, as it's just going to be general painting advice. You can see, for instance, this jawline here looks kind of artificial. It looks like a drawn line, and at some magnifications it doesn't look too bad, but as you get into different magnifications it can look really abrupt. Now what we want to do is we want to preserve this bottom line. Let me zoom in a little bit further so you can see where I'm actually pointing here. I'll make my brush smaller. We want to preserve this bottom line here where we actually do have a hard edge. We have where the edge of the jaw turns away from the viewer and you're looking at that surface edge on, or even with part of it obscured. What we want to change here is we want to change this upper edge, and we want to soften it quite a bit. So we're going to go to our handy dandy smudge tool, and we're going to use a soft edged brush. Let's say we'll start with 9 pixels and see what that looks like. And we're going to go with about 50% strength and see where that what that gives us. And we're just going to go in here and we're going to soften this edge. And we're going to blend it in, and we're going to make it look a lot more natural, or at least that's our goal. And I'm just going to work this until it gets a look that I want. Now, I have a feeling that this bottom edge is still too hard even as it is, so I'm just going to give it a quick pass with the blur tool, but before the smudge tool. But before I do that, let's zoom out a bit. That's actually not bad. The reason it looks a little artificial there is we don't have enough shadow underneath to make your chin is actually, it juts out like a shelf, and it's going to cast a shadow on the neck below. So we're going to darken that up a bit. So we're going to go with our brush tool right up there, and we are going to multiply again because we're going to be adding shadow. And we're going to pick up this color here. We're going to start off with a low opacity because we're going to want to build this. We don't want to obscure that edge, that existing edge. So we're going to work this, and you can see where I'm getting a little bit of lightness there that I don't want underneath. We're going to work this until we have a bit more naturalistic shadow there. Much more realistic looking, but we're going to want to blend that out again because this undersurface of the neck, you don't have a hard corner there. The neck blends into the under chin, so we're going to soften that out again with our blur or with our smudge tool. And I'm going to want to keep some of this this stuff down here, this rough stuff. It gives the skin an interesting texture, and although the asta are fairly simple, we don't want our drawing to look too static and plastic, so we're going to keep that edge, or keep that roughness down there. I'm going to work that edge there a little bit. There we go. Now we're starting to look a lot more naturalistic. Okay, that was what I wanted to talk about edge. Now the next part of this video I wanted to talk about light, but I think it's going to take a bit more time than we'll be able to fit into the 10-minute length. So I'm going to move that into the next video, and next time we will talk about light, specifically reflected light.